Yay! What's up, Dallas Cowboy Nation? It's your boy G from Jersey here with the Quest for Six podcast. Happy Thursday, folks. Yesterday I made a post, split screenshot. Half of the screen, Shavon Revel. The other half of the screen, we had Jermod McCoy, okay? I was giving you guys body comparisons, okay? Height, weight, arm length, all right? And that post took off, all right? Obvious concerns. Both of those cornerbacks suffering the same injuries while they were in college, all right? ACL injuries. But there's a big difference between the two of them, okay? Shavon Revel suffered his injury during the season, okay? Jermod McCoy took a complete year off to recover from the injury. So he is about 14, 15 months post-surgery, heading into his pro day on March the 31st at the University of Tennessee. And folks, all eyes will be on Jermod McCoy and how he performs in that pro day session, all right? Let's see how he runs. I made a post. I said, listen, if Jermod McCoy runs a 4.4, 4.3, he is going in the top 15, folks. He is going to be a top 15 cornerback. Whether that pushes him in front of Mansour Delane or not, it is to be seen. Of course, we saw Mansour Delane have a monster pro day at LSU this week as well. And right now, it's going to be how teams see McCoy recovering from that injury, okay? Prior to the injury, there was very little doubt whether or not McCoy would be CB number 1 taken this year. But post the injury, there are some concerns because he hasn't played in over a year for obvious reasons, okay? But let's not get it twisted, folks. McCoy has all of the skills necessary to be a CB1 at the pro level, all right? In other Dallas Cowboys news, all right, they haven't signed a linebacker this week. They haven't signed another edge this week, okay? So the focus, again, has been on how Dallas addresses those positions of need in the draft, okay? We see all the experts, all the podcasters, all the content creators throwing names out there as far as who Dallas should bring in pre-draft via free agency, via trade, to alleviate that burden so that we are not forced to take certain players either at 12 or at 20, all right? Me, for one, I have been adamant that there is a edge rusher out in Jacksonville, Travon Walker, okay? Monster prospect, number 1 overall pick a few years ago, that he will be due a contract in a few seasons, okay? We also know that Jacksonville has another edge rusher on the team, Josh Allen, who they just paid a few seasons ago. And I said, if I'm Dallas, I'm looking to trade pick number 20 for Josh Allen and a pick from Jacksonville, all right? He is a player, high energy. He's pro ready. He's been successful at the NFL, okay? And now that I think about it, considering the contract that the Seattle Seahawks signed Jackson Smith and Jigba to recently, there is no rush for George Pickens and his agent David Malugetta to sign any deal that the Dallas Cowboys offer until they get to the number that they want, right? We saw Njigba sign for $40+ million a year, okay? I know some of you guys are really good with cap numbers, whether it's 40 million cap per year or not. That is a big number for Dallas to counter. Why? Because we already have wide receiver 1 on the team who gets paid $30+ million a year, CeeDee Lamb. And what a lot of us aren't realizing is the minute that you sign George Pickens to a $35+ million a year contract, although CeeDee Lamb has been outspoken in saying, I don't need more money than George Pickens, I'm going to ask you whether or not he'll be thinking the same way a year from now, okay? Because CeeDee Lamb is 2 years into his contract that he signed a few camps ago. But whether or not CeeDee Lamb forces the Dallas Cowboys at the end of next season into saying, hey, I need to restructure my deal. I need more money, right? And what that situation will look like for the Cowboys, because CeeDee Lamb is CB1, okay? And going back to the Trayvon Walker deal, Jacksonville is searching for a wide receiver one. They drafted Brian Thomas a few years ago with the hopes that he would be CB1. He's shown flashes, but they're not happy with Brian Thomas. So I said, hey, if Dallas can't figure out a deal with George Pickens pre-draft, would you consider trading George Pickens and pick 20 to the Jacksonville Jaguars for Trayvon Walker and let's say Brian Thomas? Would that interest you? Okay, that is a big time NFL trade, and it may be something that both teams consider because it helps both teams. Okay, Dallas receives the edge rusher that they desperately need. Okay, they hold on to pick 12. All right, and they also receive wide receiver 2 in return, who's not through a contract for a few seasons. Jacksonville will receive their wide receiver 1 that they desperately need, and they receive a draft pick where they can take an edge rusher at 20. Whether or not that's something that you guys consider, let me know, folks, okay? Listen, pay attention to Georgia. Pay attention to Georgia. Defensive coordinator Christian Parker brought in another former Georgia Bulldog at cornerback, all right? Somebody that, whether he makes it through camp or not, it is to be seen. But Christian Parker is a Georgia Bulldog fan in terms of defensive players, folks, all right? Hey, man, have a great day, folks. This has been G from Jersey with the Quest for Six podcast. Peace.